Here's what's cooking on the new Sports Stove Local Hour. We're sitting down with UFC heavyweight and EKU alum Harry Hunsucker as he prepares for his upcoming UFC fight. We're also joined by the great Jeremy Hawkins. He's the EKU defensive line coach who recently was announced, made it a very important list. We'll talk about that and more. That's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Local Hour. Welcome into an all-new Sports Stove Local Hour presented by IPM Pest and Termite, Central Kentucky's neighborhood pest professionals. You can find more information at myipm.com. That's myipm.com. If you live in Central Kentucky, that's Richmond, Lexington, Irvine, Georgetown, Nicholasville, all the surrounding areas. If you live in the area and you have pest problems, you got to get a hold of IPM Pest and Termite at myipm.com. Let them know the Sports Stove sent you. And we would greatly appreciate that. We'd sure appreciate the support of IPM Pest and Termite of this program. Speaking of this program, we have an excellent show for you. We are joined by two guests today. The first one that you're going to hear from in just a few minutes is going to be UFC heavyweight Harry Hunsucker. We've had Harry on the program multiple times before, not on the local hour, but on our regular podcast, the Sports Stove podcast. But he's got a big fight coming up against Justin Tafa here on December the 18th, and it'll be his first UFC fight in which he had a full camp to prepare. He did fight Bam Bam Tuivasa back, earlier this year, I guess, on like a couple days' notice. So he didn't have a chance to really prepare for that one. And to be honest with you, Bam Bam, it would have been nicer to work up to Bam Bam and not have to face Bam Bam at your first UFC fight. But nonetheless, he did it. He's willing to fight anybody, but he's had a full camp and prepared. We'll talk to him in just a moment. Then we're also bringing on one of AFCA's 35 under 35 coaches, and that is Jeremy Hawkins. He's the defensive line and run game coordinator for EKU, and had a really good conversation with him as well. So we're going to bring that to you. We're going to talk a little EKU basketball as well. We are recording this on Tuesday evening before the tip-off. EKU men versus USC. I'm too old to stay up that late, and plus I have work tomorrow. So we will not be able to talk about the great win over USC this week. We'll have to save that for next week's episode there. All right, let's get you started though today with the UFC fighter from Richmond, Kentucky, Harry Hunsucker. And like I said, he's got a fight coming up here in just a few weeks, December the 18th, less than a few weeks, I guess, a week and a half or so from now. And Harry is a giver in the community. He is a hard worker, and we're excited about what the future holds for Harry Hunsucker. So earlier, I had a chance to sit down and talk with Harry Hunsucker. Here's that interview.
UFC heavyweight out of Madison County, fighting on the UFC Fight Night December 18th at the Apex in Las Vegas. Harry the Hurricane Hunsucker. Welcome back, Harry. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. You got quite the card here coming up. You're fighting Justin Tafa on December the 18th. I was looking at your card. You got the likes of Derek Lewis, Chris Dacus, Cub Swanson, Air Jourdain, Mearshart, Wonder Boy, Bilal, Angela Hill, all kinds of people on this card. They're probably so pumped to be on the same card as Harry Hunsucker.
Right. That's right.
Tell me about this. This is, you get a full fight camp. Your last fight was against Tuivasa. And your two fights with the UFC, you were on of course, Dana White's Contender Series. That was last minute. Against Bam Bam, that was last minute. So you actually get a full fight camp. How's the fight camp going?
Man, it has not really had a hiccup at all, man. It's been a perfect camp. I'm feeling great. We got about a week until I fly out, and I really feel the best that I've ever felt, man. And, having a full fight camp obviously makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, because you're going in. I mean, that last fight against Bam Bam was. I mean, I understand it was an opportunity of a lifetime. You had to take it, but I mean, that was so last minute.
Yeah.
It kind of put you behind the eight ball.
Hey man, it is what it is. You know, it's a fight, man, and anybody can win them. That's why I wouldn't say no. You know what I mean? You've always got a chance to win in a fight, but you know, unfortunately, he's a very heavy-handed individual. You know, and you know, I got caught, so that's part of the game. It could happen to anybody. I mean, he did it to Greg Hardy too, right after me. So he's a he's a monster, man.
Well, I was happy he knocked around Greg Hardy. It wasn't as happy that he knocked you out, but
Right. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's talk about Justin Taffa. He's coming off two straight losses. One of those is Jared Bandera, who you fought against in the Contender Series as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at his stuff. His first 5 professional fights either ended in round 1 or round 2, but his last 2 went the distance. He lost one by split and one by unanimous decision.
Yeah.
If Tapology is correct, you've not been out of the first round since 2013.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So what's the don't give us all the secrets, but are you looking to be patient with Justin? Are you looking to be a first round fight? What's kind of the mindset going into this one?
I mean, I'm not a point fighter, man. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go 3 rounds. I think anybody that knows me knows that. So, I don't ever want to leave it in the hands of the judges. That's why, like, as soon as they say go, it's on. I mean, you're in a fist fight, dude. I'm not a point fighter at all, man. I'm not trying to stay in there all night. You know what I mean? So, that, and then, I've been getting ready for 5-round title fights, like up until the 2 Contender Series things. You know what I mean? Just because they end in the first round, that doesn't mean that I didn't train for 5 for months. You know what I mean? I've gone 5-minute rounds, like 10, 15, 20 of them a night. You know what I mean? So, just because the fights are short doesn't mean I wasn't prepared for longer fights. But when these short notice deals come up, man, like, especially me being right off of fights where I was a little beaten, banged up, and then I get called back up quick. And like, I was making some bad food decisions. I quit drinking alcohol. I've talked about this pretty openly. I haven't drank since like June. And I'm just making all the right decisions, man. I mean, this is my time now,
Yeah. How much have you learned about that? I mean, you're talking about quit drinking. You look at some of the greatest athletes out there right now. I'm thinking of like Tom Brady, for instance, and the amount of effort he goes through with this diet and those sorts of things. I know you're in different sports, so it's a little different for that. But how much have you grown in your care for yourself along with your fighting and your practicing and those kinds of things?
Yeah, I think that the support from the people around me has been the biggest thing. I mean, my wife always, makes healthy food. We always eat organic, good foods. Getting rid of alcohol was a big deal, man. That stuff's poisonous, really, it is. And I'll drink again, but like I was like drinking too much, you know what I mean? So I was drinking enough that it was getting in the way of my athletic ability. You know what I mean? So getting rid of that, and then having the UFC Performance Institute has been a game changer too. Because anytime I have any questions about my diet, my training, my supplementation, sports psychology, I mean, you have all these things at your disposal that I've never had, had the opportunity to use. So, the biggest thing, man, is the supplements. Like my body feels good now. You know what I mean? I'm recovering faster. All the, and it's all free to all the UFC athletes. So it's that's been a great thing. And I guess, a lot of things have just come full circle is what is the best way to put it. Like the supplementation side. The only thing I guess I could do a little bit more is sleep, but I got 3 kids, 1 more on the way, so sleep is hard to come by. But other than that, everything is great.
Well, I know I see on social media you're out running a lot, getting out there, getting miles in. running through Richmond and different places and, those kinds of things. Talk a little bit about your opponent on December the 18th. What are you seeing out of him? I know you've done, I know a lot of guys nowadays are doing more study on themselves on video and stuff like that, but what are you guys doing? What are you seeing from your opponent and what you're expecting from him?
I think it's pretty standard what you expect from Tafa. You know what I mean? He's gonna try to stand and bang, and he'll probably he likes to clinch fight a lot too. So we've been working the wall defense and stuff like that. But I mean, it's pretty standard, game plan that I expect from him. He's just going to try to kick my butt. You know what I mean? He's a tough, hard-headed dude, and that's what he does, and he does it real well. You know what I mean? But I've become a totally different fighter this camp, man. So I'm just excited to see the new me. You know what I mean? Everything is coming together, and it's going to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Now, he's a big boy. If I saw right, he's usually in that 260, 265 range. What's your weight looking like? Where's your goal to be at come fight night?
I usually fight around 245 or 250, but this fight camp, just because I've been really watching my diet and making all the right decisions, I'm at 235 right now. So, I look a lot different. You know what I mean? My body's changed a lot. And, I feel like I'm going to be a very, very explosive athlete.
You've been, I've watched your Dana White fight, your Contender Series fight, watched the Bam Bam fight, catch clips of your fights, Corey Moon before Bam Bam and stuff like that. One of the things that stands out with you, obviously, you have no fear as far as going in and swinging, and you've landed some huge shots. Even that Bandera fight, I thought you had him knocked out.
He's got a hard head, man.
Yeah, and you talked about too. At that point, you weren't in the conditioning stage to be able to, you had to make it in fast, and it looked like you almost had him, but didn't quite get there. In this fight too, I know you already said the plan is, hey, let's get it done with, let's be entertaining. When you look at trying to earn that next fight or a bigger contract or anything like that, does that play into this fight, or are you focused mainly on just winning the fight?
Yep, I've not thought about anything after this, man. Nothing else has been on my mind but December 18th.
Getting it done. You said you got a new kid on the way.
Yes,
as
sir.
well. Congratulations to you and your wife on that.
Thank you.
And us here in Madison County, Central Kentucky, everyone around is excited for you and excited for this next opportunity. Do you have a prediction?
Whatever happens, man, it's not gonna go to the distance. You know what I mean? Kill or be killed.
Yeah. So it'll be entertaining and hopefully first UFC victory for
That's
you
right.
as well. You're not a young chicken anymore. You're not old, but you're not a young chicken either.
Yeah.
But with you haven't taken a ton of damage in your career.
I'm gonna peak this in 2 weeks, man. I'm gonna peak. I promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna see the best me you've ever seen. I promise you that.
I'm looking forward to it. Nickname's the Hurricane. I always say there's a storm coming. And
yes, sir.
Looking forward to watching here in a couple of weeks, December the 18th. It'll be in Vegas. You say you fly out in about a week?
Yeah, I fly out on the 14th, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
And be up there and ready to go. All right. Well, Harry, we sure appreciate you taking the time to join us again and taking time out of your schedule. I know there's a lot going on for you right now, but we're cheering for you, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about a victory here in the coming weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on. You take care, okay?
All right. Good luck, man.
Bye.
That's Harry Hurricane Hunsucker. We sure appreciate his time with us on the program. Always appreciate his willingness to come on and be a part of the show. And a great representative here of Central Kentucky, and glad that he's back. He's got another opportunity, or a legit opportunity here in the UFC, and it's really exciting to see where he can go now. Having a full camp, it'll be a tough battle against Justin Tafa. Harry is the underdog. I had it written down. I think he's plus 270 underdog, a stacked card, by the way. A lot of eyes are going to be on that card. as well. But excited for Harry and his legit opportunity with the UFC, and hopefully we'll see him more in the UFC as well. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking with Jeremy Hawkins, the EKU defensive line coach and run game coordinator. But first, let's hear a word from our...
With over 20 years of experience, Matt Schaefer and the good folks at locally owned IPM Pest and Termite provides pest control service for all of Central Kentucky's pest control needs. Whether you have a current pest control problem or want to prevent infestation from ever entering your home, IPM Pest and Termite offers maintenance programs that will help keep pests out of your home and provide peace of mind. So for dependable, reliable services that you can count on, get in touch with our good friend Matt Schaefer at IPM Pest and Termite today at myipm.com. That's myipm.com.
Welcome back into the Sports Local Hour presented by IPM Pest and Termite. In just a moment, we're going to hear from Jeremy Hawkins, EKU defensive line coach and run game coordinator. Guys like Q Floyd, Quentin Floyd, Shane Burks, Roland Walter, TK McClendon, Ryan Jackson, Kelton Dawson. These guys all pitched in this year on the EKU football team on the defensive line and really made a massive impact there. And a large part of that is because of their coach, Jeremy Hawkins. Of course, the whole staff working, but Jeremy focuses on the defensive line. He's also the run game coordinator. The interview with Jeremy Hawkins is presented by Bible Pathway Baptist Church in Richmond, Kentucky. Bible Pathway Baptist Church just might be the friendliest church in Richmond. It's located at 464 Three Forks Road, there on the north side of Richmond, Kentucky. You can find more information at BiblePathwayBC.com. That's BiblePathwayBC.com. And just as Bible Pathway Baptist Church invites you to attend their services, we invite Jeremy Hawkins into the Sports Stove. Are joined now by EKU defensive line coach Jeremy Hawkins. Coach, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on. I've heard a couple of your podcasts, and you do a really good job.
Well, thank you. It's all about the guests. Good guests make for a good show, and so that's why we brought you on. Big announcement came out this week that you are one of the AFCA's 35 under 35 coaches this year. Congratulations on that. What does that mean to you?
Thank you. It's a blessing. It's all God. I'll tell you this right here. It's not about me. It's truly about the kids. They played their tails off this season. We had a pretty good season there. Then, kind of finished how we wanted to with not making the playoffs. But, man, it's all them. It's not like I'm out here coaching myself. I'm coaching those guys, and they are making the plays. So it's all my players. That's what it's about.
Let's talk about some of those players this year. This D-line this year, they really stepped up. And, we had a number of players on the program throughout the season, and it seemed like all the defensive players, it always started talking about the defensive line, what they were able to do the between the run defense and the pass defense, getting to the quarterback, getting pressure in the backfield, those kinds of things. And you were led this year. Your starters were Q, Shane Burks, and Walter, but you guys played a lot of different guys. Let's talk about Walter first. He's getting an opportunity now to go to the FCS Bowl, and what'd you see out of him this year, especially the growth that you saw, and what you think about his future?
Well, I tell you like this right here. Roland Walter was the alpha male in that room. He was the leader. He was the vocal piece in that room. He's what we needed to kind of gel that entire group together. It was times where guys were up and down. He may have been one of them, but he will always lead in the right direction. So, man, he was everything to that room this year. So excited for him to get the opportunity to go and play in the FCS Bowl. He deserves that opportunity. I think his future is bright. Sometimes you don't see guys that are NFL guys. He might not be just the NFL prototypical outside rusher, but he's a guy that's going to work his tail off. He wants to be good. He wants to be great. And, CFL, Arena League, stuff like that, man, he'll still play ball somewhere in the near future here.
That's something you can't coach, right? Desire, effort, things like that?
Correct. I mean, that's something you don't want to coach. You know, you try to recruit out of coaching that type stuff. You want to get guys on your team that you want to say, hey, hold up now. You know, you're giving us a little too much. You don't want to say giddy up. You know, that's kind of what I try to recruit, and that's kind of what we did this past off season, and that's what we're trying to do now in this recruiting cycle, is to bring guys in that are leaders that wanna go, and we got to tell them whoa a little bit to get through it. But I tell you what, man, that's what you want in a program. That's what you need in a program to be successful.
It seemed like throughout the season, the defense as a whole, but the defensive line, it just grew. You watched them kind of just grow throughout the season, where the play picked up, the big plays picked up. That was led by Roland, but guys like Shane and Quentin as well. You know, not to say that they weren't giving effort before, but it seemed like as the season went on, and didn't take very long in the season, where you just started to see that improvement from them.
Well, I would like to take the credit with the D-line, but, you know, I can sit here and say it was Roland and for that room, Roland was really good. But for this defense and for this team, Kyle Bailey, you know, our inside linebacker, Kyle Bailey was the guy that came in and just became a captain right away. You know, he kind of, you know, laid his mark where, you know, guys understood that he was really that guy on the field and off the field. You know, he spoke it, he lived it, and man, he played every down like it was his last down. Kyle Bailey, man, from that transfer from WKU, he did a heck of a job for us this year, and he kind of led the way, and then everybody else, Roland, it was easier for Roland to kind of speak up then, because Roland wasn't a natural just vocal leader. He was more so, I do my job, and you guys follow me, and I demand you to follow me on this field, not vocally, but physically. Kyle is more of a vocal and physical, and so you could hear him and see him on the sidelines. It was he was the one that really did that deal. But when it came to the D-line, Roland did step up and, you know, and made strides of being a leader, you know, vocally in that room, in that area on the sideline, and it helped everybody. You know, it helped all 7 of those guys. I played 7 guys now. We were rolling in. And well, it wasn't the first team, it wasn't the second team. It was just 7 guys playing, you know, and they all got equal snaps. You know, it was one of those deals where you look at the snap count after the game, the starters probably got, you know, 38. The second team probably got 31, you know, and it was, and that 7th guy would have to rotate him from the nose and the 3 technique, the 4-eye boundary in. And, you know, he got as many reps as he could, you know, 10 to 15 reps. But it wasn't because he just couldn't play. It's because we had 7 guys that were literally, we had no, you know, nobody really had to step down, get on that field. They still were, they were producing like they were a number 1, you know, and that's what I wanted, you know, throughout the whole summer. I was working my tail off to make sure and just feed into those guys mentally and let them know, like, hey, we want to be able to roll you guys in and not even think about it. And that's what it came out to be. And it was pretty dang on good.
It really was. And it's interesting, you know, I talked with a couple of guys about that idea of, hey, I know you like being on the field, but how great was it to be able to get a breather and knowing that your spot was going to be filled? And everybody seemed to think that was a good thing. And one of the things that I've heard consistently about this team all year long was just very unselfish, very much the team. And it seems like it started up front. Like I said, you said the way that guys were rolling in, you were playing a lot of guys, a lot of snaps. And at least on my end, I never heard a single person complain about it.
That's one thing. We did not have anybody complain, and no selfishness. You know, guys was just, you know, like you said, the team. That's one of our mottos. That's what Coach Wells brought in here, and we live by it. The team, and you know, and it's having a consistent mindset to be great, to be a champion. consistency and performance with a championship mindset. That's what Coach Wells, beats into everybody's head. And when you believe that, you can achieve it, man. It's all about your mindset. And I'm a firm believer in that. If you know and believe you can, then you will. If you doubt yourself, then you probably won't do it. So all these guys came in here with the same mindset of being great, of being a champion. Man, we gave everything we could to try to be that champion.
Most of your guys are coming back next year. Obviously,
Right.
You'll bring in some new guys as well, but you guys have a lot of experience and a lot of young experience on this team. What are you looking forward to next year? Just talking about the guys that you already have on the roster.
Man, I'm excited. You see those guys, like you said this year, how they gelled together and started growing and getting better on and off the field. And now we're at that level. We're at that step already. And now when you bring somebody else in to join the group, it's just, just adding icing on the cake, man. We're excited about it. Well, I cannot wait to get back on the grass with those guys and coach them up and make sure that they are the leaders that they need to be, and they help the guys that are coming in to be what they need to be on the field. And I'm looking forward for some of the same stuff, but to get better too. It's some things that we left on the field this year. It's some plays we left on the field that we could have been a lot better at. Some sacks, some tackles for loss. Some strip sacks. It's some things when you go back and watch the film. Yes, we played good, but we want to be great. That's the mindset. We're trying to be great, not just good.
You talked about that melding together as the new guys come in. And, one of the things Matthew Jackson talked about with us was, because I asked him about guys like Kyle that came in this year and, how did that work when, bringing in veteran players in, how do you make that work? And Matt just talked about how it just went so seamlessly this year. Is that something that you think can definitely carry over? Is there a mindset or an atmosphere around this program right now where as guys come in, it should be pretty natural for them to meld into the team?
It's the culture. That's what Coach Wells and the rest of us as coaches we've brought here, and that's what we wanted to do, is change the culture of this program, and that's what that's what we're doing. It's evident. It's small things like what Matt said about Kyle, and it's several others that are on the field that were transfers or younger guys that you see the same kind of attributes out of. It's the culture. You got to build it every year. Every team is different, especially now with transfer portal and everything that's going on. Guys are in and out. Every team is different, but it's the culture. You got your main core. You got your foundation built so well that when guys come in here, that's who they become.
You are, and your Twitter feed is full of motivational thoughts, sayings, different things. Some of it's just, I think, from you, others just things that you've quoted or whatever it may be. How long have you been a motivational sayings kind of guy?
That's life for me.
Yeah.
I'm big on the mind side of things. I'm truly a believer in, if you believe, then you will achieve it. If you don't, then you won't. I'm a positive person. I'm always thinking glass half full rather than glass half empty. So why not, convey that to everybody else that follows me and, may have needed that message for the day. May have needed an uplift for the day. I'm all about uplifting people. I'm all about being uplifted. Because this thing called life is not easy. You got to persevere through some things. And what better way than to allow somebody like myself that's a coach to mentor young man to become man in this world. And what better way to do it than to use my tools to do it, and that's what I do every day. That's me. That's not a fake thing I do on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. It's me. It's who I am. And my wife tells me that every day, like, you're so positive. Like, yeah, why not be? I grew up in a family where it was a big family and we didn't have a lot. And I'm thankful that, you know, I'm blessed enough to provide for my family now. And I'm thankful that, you know, I'm still here alive, because I lost both my mom and my dad. Mom to cancer, my dad had a heart attack. You know, I was 30 years old. My dad died. I was 20 when my mom died. So I've seen a lot at a younger age, and seen life go by so much. So why not be happy while you're here? And I do what I love to do. I got a passion for what I do. So it's not work for me. It's a blessing that I'm doing this and they're paying me for it. It's like stealing.
Legally stealing. I like it.
There you go.
Not only do you coach the defensive line, you're also the run game coordinator. Explain for me and other simple-minded folks like me, how does that work between run coordinator, run game coordinator, pass game coordinator, working together to sort out the defense?
I'll tell you like this. Coach Johnson is the defensive coordinator, and we work together as a unit to come up with a plan to win each week. That doesn't change. You know, I'm the defensive line coach, so I pay attention to the run a little bit more than the corners coach. So, you know, that's a great title for me to have. I'm blessed for, you know, Coach Wells and Coach Johnson to allow me to have that title, because that helps me out in my career, and it's a blessing to have it. But when it comes down to it, we game plan as a coaching unit. When we're in there, man, and with those four walls, it's us and that whiteboard and that film, and we go in there and we get a plan together. We feel good about it. We add, we take away. By Wednesday afternoon, by Wednesday evening, we feel really good about it. We polish it up on Thursday, and we roll with it. So yeah, I pay attention to the run a lot more. The interior run to be exact.
Even the coaching staff is the team. Everything is all for one common goal. I absolutely love it. It's been a blast. It's been a great season. Fun to watch the kids that you're working with grow and get better, and looking forward to what's ahead in the future. I know you guys are busy recruiting and things like that, getting ready for the roster for next year and things. But congratulations to you again on the AFCA's 35 under 35, and looking forward to what's ahead for you, Coach Hawkins. That was Coach Hawkins, defensive line coach for EKU, run game coordinator as well. Sure appreciate him taking the time to come on with us there at the end. He got a phone call, and nonetheless, he cut off there right at the end. But it was great chatting with him, and I sure appreciate him taking the time to be with us. And Chad was there. It was a great conversation. Again, congratulations to him. The AFCA's 35 under 35. That's a big deal. And so congratulations to Coach Hawkins. And again, looking forward to what's ahead. When it comes to the EKU defensive line, they're going to be stacked next year. I mean, they lose Roland Mulder, but outside of that, they should be returning with Floyd Shane Burks. And then they've got the other guys, McClendon, Jackson, Dawson, and I'm forgetting somebody. I apologize for that. And then, of course, I'm sure they'll bring in maybe one transfer, two transfers as well. So it'll be just to see how all that goes. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, EKU basketball on the other side. Welcome back into the Sports Stove Local Hour, presented by IPM Pest and Termite, Central Kentucky's neighborhood pest professional. We're going to close out the episode today with just a little bit of talk about EKU basketball. We'll start with the women's basketball on Sunday. They faced off against Illinois at Illinois. They lost 57-71. Jalen Johnson had 20.7 rebounds. Ari Kirkwood, 10 points, 7 rebounds. Rhea Bass, 8 points, 8 rebounds, but they shot 26.5% from the field. That's going to make it hard to beat a team like Illinois when you're shooting 26.5% from the field. Emma Hacker joined the starting lineup in place of Ali Collette. They played about the same amount of minutes still. Emma was unable to take advantage of the starting role. She went 0 for 4 shooting. But, you know, Coach talked about when they need a little bit of size, or because she has the height, or even against zone. He really feels like Emma's a good fit for the team when they're playing against zone. So she got an opportunity there. Alice, she went 0 for 9 from the field as well. So a tough loss, but Coach was really pleased with the way they were playing. So let's see if they can hold up, and they've got another game coming up here Thursday. It's at 11 o'clock tip-off. They're at EKU. off against Chattanooga. They're at Alumni Coliseum. And then they play again Sunday at 1 o'clock. They travel north to Miami of Ohio for that game. They're looking to get back another win here this week. For sure, EKU men, what a game. They played Western Kentucky on Saturday. They lost 85-80, and as I put out on Twitter that you can follow at SportsStove, they just had competent refs. The game may have been differently. I know I watch it with a biased view, so maybe, but I don't think so. I've officiated. I was licensed in Wisconsin and here in Kentucky. I've officiated a lot of basketball, and it was a rough game. And you look at it, you go, just a little bit of competency would have been helpful in this game. But nonetheless, they had opportunities. They were not able to take. So you can't blame it all on the refs, of course. But they had a shot. Cooper Robb, 21 points, all of those coming from the three-point line. He was 7 of 14 from the three-point line, which is pretty incredible. He was 0 for 1, by the way, inside the three-point line on the day. So Cooper Robb was going off. Blanton had 14 points, 10 rebounds. Moreno added 14 points. Jansen Williams, 10 points, 7 rebounds. He fouls out again. Not his first time doing that this season. Beverly added 11 points as well. They shot all right, 40% from the field. I think it was 35 or 36% from the three-point line. They played really well. I'm telling you, the energy, the effort, everything was there to win that game. The defense had its moments. It had moments where it wasn't great too, but it had its moments in there as well. And just to see the consistent pushing, second effort, rebounding, all of that was good. I know coach is frustrated with the loss, but there is opportunity for this team to continue. Yeah, they've lost more already this season, I think, than they planned on losing. But when that happens, you just got to pick yourself up and continue to get better. They're 5-4 as it sits right now. And then again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, they're playing Tuesday night against USC on the road. USC is a 17-point favorite. The tip-off is 10 o'clock local time, and that just doesn't work for me. I apologize. I can't stay up for that. I know you say, oh, you're not a loyal fan. Well, get over it. I got to work in the morning, and we're recording this on Tuesday night. So, nonetheless, if I can't sleep, I'll get up and I'll watch the EKU game. But I'm planning on sleeping tonight. Nonetheless, 10 o'clock tip-off against USC. It's going to be a battle. Man, they flew out. It was Sunday. They flew out. I got there, or maybe it was Monday morning. They got there and whatnot. But anyways, they play against USC, a tough battle. But then they'll come home Saturday. They've got a 7 o'clock game against Marshall here at home. Of course, there's 2 former Marshall players on the roster, and then you also, of course, have A.W. Hamilton with the ties to Marshall as well. So a lot going in there. They've got a Saturday game. Then the next Wednesday, a 7 o'clock game against Midway. They're at home as well. Actually, their next 3 games are at home: Marshall, Midway, and Northern Kentucky, before they go on the road again to Bryant University. So these are all games they need to win. They need Marshall and USC are going to be harder to win. USC will be really hard to win, by the way. USC is 8-0 on the season. They were really good to start the season. Now, who they played? You say, well, they played Utah, Washington State. And both of those were, they just barely beat Washington State. They blew out Utah. Then they played San Diego State, St. Joseph's, Dixie State, FGCU, Fort Worth Temple, and CSU Northridge, winning all of those games. So they're good. It's going to be an incredibly tough battle, especially coming off a tough loss to Western Kentucky. But excited to talk about that game in our next episode. I want to say thank you again to Harry Hunsucker and to Jeremy Hawkins for coming on the show this week. We're going to have some men's basketball players. That's the plan. Hopefully Coach Hamilton as well on our next episode next week. You can follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at SportsStove. Please like, subscribe, share, rate, review, all that good stuff. The podcast, we really appreciate your help. We also appreciate IPM Pest and Termite for their support of this program. Make sure you visit myipm.com if you live in Central Kentucky and have pest needs. I promise you will not be disappointed. Guaranteed services, the best technicians around, and they're going to show up on time. That's rare these days. IPM Pest and Termites here for you. They are Kentucky's neighborhood pest professionals. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We'll be live Thursday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for our regular Sports Stove podcast show. Until next time, we're going to see